Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now June 1st of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how both Bob Iger and Bob Chaypek are really going to handle things moving forward. This is Mike Zeroh. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing that's really exciting about this new Star Wars universe is that not only is it going to be far larger than the old one that we received back in the 1990s and the 2000s, but that also it's going to include some of the fan favorite characters. We're talking about Luke, Anakin, Boba Fett, Palpatine once again, and yes, even Rey and Ben Solo of the sequel trilogy. Now, many fans aren't really all that excited for the character of Rey. I 100% understand that. But thankfully, many changes are being made in order to really make it more believable as to why she calls herself Rey Skywalker at the very end of Episode 9 by creating an actual reason behind that, many different retcons for the character, if you will. Now, thankfully, as I like to call them, FFL or LFF, Lucas, Favreau, Filoni, of course, all working together as a team in order to really provide us authentic Star Wars stories. You know, I believe that the first real authentic Star Wars story that we got under Disney was The Mandalorian Season 1. There was something about it that felt so true to George Lucas's vision of Star Wars and how the Star Wars tone should feel, and overall, you know, how it kind of just feels like it is matched up with the original trilogy. Now, with that being said, what's really exciting, of course, is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are in a phase of damage control, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe. Currently, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are hard at work on developing authentic Star Wars stories for the new Star Wars community, of course, to enjoy moving forward, where the plan by Lucasfilm is to essentially develop an EU that will not only bring back many parts of the Star Wars Legends material, but also brand new material that the fans have never seen before. It's explained that both George Lucas, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau are all in on this new universe that will also include a post-Episode 9 era for the Star Wars fans around the world. Now, it's explained that George Lucas is doing incredible things for this post-Episode 9 era that will also be featured in the Rise of Skywalker sequel series that will take place some years after the events of Episode 9. It's explained that not only will George Lucas bring back both Anakin and Luke Skywalker to life temporarily, but also Ben Solo as a character to face Palpatine once more. Now, it's noted that George Lucas wants to do something magical for the fans by also bringing back Ben Solo to life, temporarily speaking, in the mortal realm to face the return of Palpatine as a Sith Lord once more in Star Wars history. Now, this major story will become a part of the post-Episode 9 timeline, where also it's described that Lucas is in fact developing a plan to give Ben Solo a brand new design for the new timeline when he comes back to life temporarily to face Palpatine in this new story that will be told in the near future. It's explained that Lucas wants to make Ben Solo appear older and wiser as a Force ghost many years after Episode 9, and eventually becoming materialized as alive, where Rey's new Jedi Order hits its peak and her children, Zane and Kira Skywalker, are adults. Now, this plan to essentially give fans a different version of Ben Solo is rooted by Bob Chapek. However, not just that, but also George actually has a plan in place to give the image of the same appearance of Ben Solo in a different and unexpected way for the fans in his younger form. Now, in the beginning of this post-Episode 9 era in general, of course, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are said to have a role in the creative choices of this new timeline that will be a very expansive era of the Star Wars universe that will be told in many books, novels, comics, and even new TV shows for Disney Plus that will be in animated form. Now, the idea originally comes from Bob Chapek to expand on the character of Ben Solo, and that they have already been in the talks with actor Adam Driver to come back as Ben Solo by providing voiceover work for the character. Now, this plan by Disney is to also satisfy the Star Wars fandom by also bringing back Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2, which is ready to release sometime in October of this year for Disney Plus and for the Star Wars community as a whole. So let me just say one thing right here, is I think that these characters coming back is a little bit excessive. I'm not against this idea of Ben Solo coming back to life, temporarily, I must add, but we've seen a common trend with this by Disney Star Wars. We have Palpatine back to life, right? we've got Boba Fett coming back to life. That's actually going to be established in The Mandalorian Season 2. And, of course, when we look at Luke, Anakin, and now Ben Solo, they too will also be coming back to life, but however, only temporarily speaking, to face Palpatine once more. This to me sounds very interesting. The Skywalker bloodline facing Palpatine. This is something that we should have seen in live-action form and not just something animated. And this, to me, I think, is going to satisfy a handful of fans, but I'm not quite sure if it will essentially for the majority, if you will, right? So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.